This mic is like literal jail.
You wanted this mic. It's the Sims mic.
Me. Well, maybe if Life Simmer never used it, then I would have never even cared.
Well, Josh,
What do you think about Brooke? Would you hit that? So welcome back to The Internet is Dead. There's a lot we have to discuss.
also known as the Josh Ovalle, please be a guest on my podcast. And I'm just scared that everyone in my emails is never going to answer me again. There's like three different people in the emails. What if
Did Kai not answer yet?
Not yet. He had a show last night, okay? So let's not get too scared yet.
What if you scared him off with the Snapchat joke?
I know. Maybe I shouldn't have said it.
Maybe you went too far.
I think I went too far right away.
Oh my God.
I wished that I waited longer, and then the whole joke of like being like, no, we're chillers. Like I wish that came to me first.
Yeah.
Guys, just to summarize, I don't know. Should we even tell them?
No.
Because what if we get embarrassed later?
I know.
Kai emailed us back, and we're kind of excited about that. And he was like, well, can I edit stuff out? In parentheses, I have anxiety. And then I said, yeah, of course we can like do that. If you want, we can put like the dog filter on your face, like all episode. Or like make your
Snapchat.
Yeah. I don't know. I just feel like that wasn't my best joke I could have made.
I don't think so. But it's like, what do you even do when you're in the emails with Kai?
No, like you get caught off guard.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that.
So yeah, we have a lot to talk about today.
A
lot of industry news.
I was thinking that. I was
thinking this is the industry news episode.
No, literally. So Brooke Schofield's canceled.
Okay, and also I'm so interested because we're having Colin on next week, who used to be in the Trash Collab channel, and he just made a video about the whole thing. So like it's kind of like interesting timing, and I'm excited to talk to him about it, even though he probably already said everything he wants to see. His whole point of the video is like, oh well, Tana's friends with her, and like they're birds of a feather.
Basically, a bunch of old tweets from Brooke came out.
Tana's co-host Brooke Schofield on the Cancel
who also
podcast.
has kind of she's also like created her own sort of following and stuff and garnered her own platform. Because I feel like I see a lot of people talking about her now.
I see a lot of people being like, Brooke's so underrated.
Because I think that she just has like a lot of her own lore. Okay,
I don't know any of her lore, but I feel like she's weirdly intertwined with like a lot of celebrities.
Yeah.
And I think that's why people are like, this is like funny, I guess.
Well,
I don't know.
People also just think she's really funny, which I know you don't.
Well, do you think that Tana's funny even?
No.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
I think Tana was funny in her old videos.
Yeah.
Like her old story times.
Like, I think that just Tana as a person, I find really interesting because I feel like every like genuine creator really likes her.
But basically the whole thing with Brooke is that a bunch of tweets came out. I think she was like 15. The ages are kind of confusing. I think she was like 15 to 19 in that age range when she tweeted things, or like 17 to 19. And she tweeted something about Trayvon Martin, where she basically said that it wasn't racism, it was like self-defense when he got murdered. She also said something about him being a full-on adult when it happened, and she was like an adult when the tweets came out. So that's like a whole discourse of people being like, well, I'll get into that in a second.
Basically, she's like had a lot of racist tweets.
Yeah. But like the Trayvon Martin thing is like interesting because, or like that's like a big one because basically the discourse that has come out about it now is people being like, some people are being like, oh, she was young when she said that. Like, are we really going to cancel everyone for saying like problematic stuff when they were young and the internet was a different place back then, yada, yada, yada. And people weren't just as aware. But then other people are saying she was like 17, 18, 19 when she said these things, which is the same age Trayvon Martin was when he got murdered. And she's like saying that he was a full-on adult for it. So she was also an adult. And also there's just the whole discourse of like, was the internet really aware back then? And does that even matter? Because it feels like every single YouTuber has been problematic and racist in the past. But it's like, how, like, it's like not that hard to not be racist. Like, I don't know. I think if you aren't as aware and even if you aren't educated, it's like not hard to like know things. I don't know. And she also was in a sorority and like has definitely done problematic stuff in the sorority, I'm pretty sure. And that's like come out before and stuff. And it also took her a long time to address all of this. So that's like another factor. But then people are like, well, what else do you want? Because I was looking at the canceled Reddit.
Yeah.
big thread about someone asking, what else do we want from her? Like, she apologized, she took accountability for it. Like, what else? Like, what do we do now? Kind of thing.
Yeah. No, that's so interesting. That's like a lot of what Colin was also talking about in his video. And also,
Mhm.
I don't know if you saw like her response to it or not.
Mhm.
Like because Cody or not what the hell?
H3.
Yeah. It's like Cody H3, Cody
Imagine
H3.
if Cody came out and like broke his silence right now and was
And he was like,
like,
actually, I just think what Brooke did was really fucked
yeah,
up. No, I think that is like very interesting because like to compare it to like an experience I had as a kid of being like online and like the election, the like 20
Mhm.
the 2016
16.
election with like Hillary and Trump and looking back on that like I remember like being like so in awe with all of the people around me who were like not like either not caring or were like supporting Trump or like Republicans. And now it's like this whole thing of like there's this like there's this like okay, we're looking back and then people are like, "Oh my God, I was so stupid. I can't believe I like was on that
Yeah.
side of that and I'm sorry." It's like the same kind of scenario and I think about it a lot where I'm like, "Well, I like knew."
Yeah.
And it like that acceptable for people to not know?
The
Yeah.
thing is, I don't even think it's that she didn't know. I think that she is just like she just believes the things that she said. You know what I mean? Like, I don't even think it
Do you
is
think
that
she still
she
does? Like after
maybe.
getting, or do you think she's just like trying to save her ass? Like,
I think she probably still does a little bit. I don't know. I just get that vibe from her, like the same vibe I get from Tana, where I think they're both like racist.
well, this is like obviously not a new idea, but like every white person is just racist. So then it's
Yeah.
like, if someone, I don't know, it is kind of like, what's the solution? Looking at Brooke's scenario of like, okay, she apologized. She's acknowledging that she has these parts of her. And maybe she like, I don't know, maybe she like isn't really, and it's just like,
Yeah.
because she's getting called out for it now. Like, what's acceptable? Like, what do we want to be acceptable? And in reality, I think like people as a whole, like, are gonna decide that for themselves.
Like
And
individually.
yeah, and like you kind of have to like use your own judgment of like, do I want to keep watching this person who had these like weird things?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think anyone is ever, I was gonna say I don't think anyone's ever unredeemable, but I actually don't think that's totally true because there's like some
Yeah.
like really horrific, like
Yeah.
unforgivable acts that like someone should be in prison for and like put
Yeah.
away for many years to think about and hopefully reform. But like even then it's like, will they? But
Yeah.
sorry, that I just like took it to like a
Yeah.
grander scale, but
No,
like
I think that it's like not anything that anyone's ever going to come to a collective agreement on. And it is just something that you have to decide for yourself. I don't think that her career is going to be ruined. I don't think that, because that's what people are saying. And I don't think that that's going to happen at all. So I think that she'll be fine. I think it's more so of just an individual thing of deciding whether or not you want to watch her. And I do think like, I just definitely feel for the people who like people of color who like really liked her and supported her who are now probably just like disappointed and
yeah.
just sad that they can't view one of their favorite influencers in the same way. But
No, because it's like, how do you like so easy to look at it from like especially for me from an outside perspective of like not being in the position of being a person of color, like witnessing this happen because it's like
yeah,
what the like actual like fuck like that's
yeah,
like if you actually think about what she said in reality, is that like forgivable? Like
yeah.
like that's crazy. Yeah, being young as an excuse is like a really
Well,
just
it's
I
more
think
so other people, I think, trying to use it as or trying to use it as a way to justify it, saying that she was young and that the internet was a different place. And I think it's just because so many, literally every single YouTuber or influencer, problematic things have come out about them or tweets or whatever. So it's like, okay, at this point, people I think have just given up on because they're like, who are we going to watch if all these people are canceled kind of thing.
well it is like just an interesting idea of this beginning early internet, people were pretty much running amok, like
Yeah.
saying whatever the hell they wanted. And like, it's funny because it was always like this whole idea of like, don't put anything you don't ever want to live forever on the internet.
Yeah.
And like, I remember when our parents would say stuff like that, and like, like obviously didn't have like these immediate results, but now we're like seeing those results in
I
real
know.
time.
That's so weird. And now we're like, oh, they were right.
Yeah. And I feel like
That's
I
crazy.
always like had this weird sense of this is like a weird thing. Like you better be
Yeah.
careful because like you don't
Same.
know what's gonna turn into. But I know a lot of people didn't think that hard about it because it's like, how
Yeah.
would you know? Especially if you're not even like that like online.
Or even because I feel like in school for us, at least at my school, we had so many like assemblies about it and presentations, and it was just a big thing, where
Hmm.
teachers and supervisors really emphasized not putting things online that you didn't want to be out there forever. And so I'm wondering if other people just didn't have that depending on like where you were and stuff. And I know that
That is interesting.
I think
Yeah.
in her response video, she talked about growing up without, because I don't know, I forget, or I think Tana replied and said something basically saying that her and Brooke both grew up kind of uneducated and just not in a super diverse or in a super like cultured area. And that was a big part
Hmm.
of it.
It is interesting because it's like if someone is like admitting that and acknowledging that they need to learn more, then like
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just such a weird thing. And it's obviously not for any one person to decide. It's just like a lot to think about, especially in like the reason I like brought up like the 2016 election is like
Hmm.
I feel like it's like a similar like positioning almost of like and like a positioning I can understand from my own
Yeah.
perspective and like a
Yeah.
way where it's like okay I lived this thing and this is how I felt about it because when I look back on it it almost feels like I'm like getting gaslit by the people who were like not educated at the time even though it's
Yeah.
like at the same time you were young and I kind of like get now it's like I don't know like I'll have a conversation with someone who like was stupid at the time about a lot of it
Mhm.
and like who was putting out their parents' thoughts because that's
Yeah.
what they learned. So it is a weird thing of like, well, why wouldn't you believe what your parents say? We all think that
Yeah.
like our parents are like right
Yeah.
when we're growing up, I think,
But I
at
feel
least for a
like
little bit.
17's kind of old to think that still.
No, yeah.
Like,
I don't
yeah.
think that's the
No,
case
no,
for
yeah.
like
Yeah.
her.
No, well, I was also gonna say, even thinking about, because I feel like we both, or at least I vividly remember the Trayvon Martin situation happening.
Mm,
And I was younger than Brooke at the time, and I was able to look at that and be like, this is like obviously wrong. And
yeah.
so I think that's how a lot of people, because I think a lot of people that watch Canceled or follow Brooke also remember that, because that was just a really big moment for all of us.
Mm,
And it was a moment that honestly just changed the course of a lot of things, I think. And it was, I think, just a big revolutionizing moment for people, honestly, changing their political beliefs and changing like where they stand on stuff. Cause I feel like it just opened up this whole new like platform of ideas almost in this weird way. And
yeah,
I
that
think
makes
that,
sense.
yeah, and I think that that was like something that people are looking at and being like, well, I knew this was wrong. So how could this 17-year-old not know it was wrong, you know?
I think you should know better at 17. I don't know. It's so weird because it's like if someone's gonna change at any point in their lives, is that something that maybe like I mean, I guess regardless of how people feel, it's a good thing and something that like someone should be doing for themselves.
Yeah.
And like
Yeah.
hopefully like in order to make the world a better place and accept everybody else. I think a lot of the time when we're looking at it, it gets intertwined with, well, are we going to accept their apology? But in
Yeah.
reality, it's like, well, like it actually doesn't even matter. Like it does,
Yeah.
but honestly, they're gonna keep on doing the same thing that they're doing. We're all gonna keep on doing the same thing we're doing.
Kind of segueing into something else, but with like the whole Taylor Swift situation,
Ugh, yeah.
it's just so crazy how the internet has made everything that is happening such a topic of conversation with so much discourse around it and so many different ideas circulating and so many different people having like different opinions on things when it's like we're all generally against the same thing, but it's like the internet has created this discourse where there's so many nuances and there's just so much. So basically, like the Taylor Swift thing, I feel like everyone probably knows, but there were like two like 17, 19-year old two guys who were connected to ISIS who had like this whole plan to execute
It,
this terrorist attack.
it was three. I don't know if you really if you
Okay.
said that or not. Yeah,
No, I
three
didn't. Yeah.
teenagers who were
Yeah, yeah.
arrested.
No, who were gonna like execute this terrorist attack in her concerts in Vienna. Um, and they got caught and like her concerts got canceled and everything. But it sparked so much like discourse about, because there's so many different things I've been seeing, and I kind of wanted to talk about all of the different things that people are saying, because the one thing people are saying is that some people are using this as a way to, oh, this is why she needs to talk about political things, like this is like, like that whole discourse. Then other people are being like, this is why she doesn't talk about political things, because of stuff like this happening. And then obviously there's like the whole Islamophobia stuff going on. And then there's also the talk about misogyny, because misogyny and terrorism are linked together, because this is a concert that was going to be 90% girls. And so like you just want to kill a bunch of young girls.
Also, like a lot of terrorist attacks like have been like misogynistic terror attacks, but not labeled as that. And that's like not even like I feel like a known thing to like general public because of like media outlets. But sorry,
yeah,
like the way that they like title their pieces and write about it and literally just give information. But
yeah, like crazy that that's sparked like that discourse,
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because the idea of that kind of discourse online is like it's like cool in a certain way because it's like, oh, we're all like starting to like critically think about all of this stuff like together. A really important thing.
Yeah.
But then it like also like pits everyone against each other and like creates more like division. Yeah, no, everything that you just said is like very interesting, especially the like her not talking about like political stuff is really interesting because to think about the idea of like maybe Taylor Swift is afraid to talk about politics because she's scared of people attacking her concerts is so fucked up. Like,
well, that's like
maybe
a big,
it's not, but like,
but that's a big justification that people have said in the past for why she won't talk about stuff, like for her own safety or for her fans' safe, especially because of like the Manchester bombing and like just like concerts being a place for terrorism is really scary.
Yeah. It is insane too. I feel like it's become easier now for like, or maybe it's like it's getting like less like accessible to people, but the fact that teenagers can just work at a concert, like, because that's a thing. Like
we know people.
We know people who work at like concert venues and like
Yeah.
they could technically easily do something like that if they tried, which they never would, but it's like the fact that that is accessible and the fact that that's how like the teenagers who got arrested for the terror plot, I'm pretty sure all of them, or at least like some of them, were like on the event staff for the show.
Yeah, which is a really scary thing because it's like, how is there not screening for that or something? I don't know. Oh yeah, the third one was just arrested.
Yeah, I also saw that apparently like one of the guys who was involved had like groped
I just saw that.
like woman in his class.
It's also about how people who are pro-Israel are using this as a way to be like
Islamophobic.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I was seeing that too. It's crazy because everything online is linked now. Like every single topic, like there's no like attacking one topic with one thing. And I guess that's just like politics in general are. But it's crazy because like just like every issue is like really political.
Yeah.
And I guess that's just like inherent to like our world. I don't know. It's very interesting.
Yeah.
I was also gonna say like I don't know if like I feel like this isn't even like really like common knowledge. I know that like we both know this like from being online, but also like from Men Who Hate Women, the book by what's her first name? I have it on my
Lauren.
I think Laura Bates. Wait, let me check.
Yeah.
Laura Bates. It's like it was sitting right there. But she talks a lot about how the incel community online, which we talked about in another episode, men a part of that community and men who aren't a part of it but see from the outside are or just people in general are like, no, this thing isn't a problem because like it's like fine, it's harmless, it's just guys saying a bunch of stupid shit on the internet. But in reality, a lot of like terrorist attacks and like shootings on like women have come from big figures in those communities. And it's just not highlighted in journalism or media because it's still so misogynistic in our world that like people won't even acknowledge like what the actual problem is. So it's like interesting that it also gets linked to like because these people are like they're in ISIS, but also it's like well they're men. There's no headlines. I mean, I guess there's like headlines being like, oh, this person committed an act of on like a woman in his class, but still none of these headlines are like
Yeah.
misogynistic terror attack because it's still not like labeled as that, which I think is really
Yeah.
interesting.
I mean, I think that like because I think it's like a little different when it's like ISIS
Yeah.
because that's like a like terrorist group that everyone knows. So I feel like it's more so just drawing attention to that fact. But I do think because in Men Who Hate Women, like what she talks about a lot is that incense violence isn't viewed as terrorism, like it's not treated as terrorism, and people aren't charged like men who commit acts of violence against women aren't charged for terrorism. I definitely think that it's like more so just something that has to be looked at together. Like, and that's what she talks about too, is that t- um like misogyny and terrorism like often go hand in hand, and I think that that's
Mm.
more so what's missing.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it is really scary though because this is like just like one of the I don't know, I'm like reading something about how it's like one of the most um like it was the greatest threat in the UK.
That's crazy.
But
It's
on a
also
lighter
so
note,
sad because I like saw so many like fans say also sorry, my brain's kind of foggy because I only just like ate and woke up. I
no,
don't know
I'm
if you can
also
tell, but
like foggy. I'm also like reading about this right now as we're talking,
no,
so I'm
like you sound really smart. Promise. I was gonna say like it's sad because I saw like literally like Taylor Swift fans on TikTok being like, "We flew to Vienna like for the
yeah.
show," and it's like also crazy as like someone who was like a huge Ariana fan when the Manchester bombing happened. And like a lot of my mutuals were like at that show and like we were all like DMing each other being like, "Are you okay?" And like waiting for people to like respond. And it's like just so
Ugh,
scary that like that could have just like happened again. I know that just like sent a shiver through
I
like my
know.
head as I said it. Um, and it's just like really sad. I think a lot of the time in like headlines too, it's like hard to like remember that it's like real humans, like because it's just like a headline and it's just like this crazy otherworldly thing that happened. But it's like, no, this like thing is like crazy and it's like literally just like girls you know. Like it could just
Well,
be girls you know.
yeah, I think it being a Taylor Swift concert, I think puts that into perspective because I could have been at that concert because I was looking up in the beginning of the summer because I really wanted to see her like on in the Eras tour this summer again. And so I was looking up like the cheapest concerts in Europe to fly to. And I'm pretty sure Vienna was like one of, because it's one of like the cheaper places that you could have flown to, and the concert wasn't that expensive. I think that's like why a lot of fans like went to this one or flew over to this one. Um, so yeah, it's just like really, really scary that that's like it's just a bunch of girls and it's like so many young girls. Like it's just really scary. But I was gonna say that it is sweet in this like twisted way to just kind of see people coming together on social media about it. And like they held like a huge thing in Vienna where like they like lined the streets and were trading friendship bracelets because that's like what they do at the concerts and stuff. And
God,
it
that
was just
makes me
like a
want to
bunch of
cry.
I know, it was just like a bunch of young girls like trading friendship bracelets and singing like Taylor Swift songs and playing them on the speakers and stuff. And it was really sweet because it's like just obviously trying to make the best out of a really fucked up situation. But it's like they can't take that away from them, you know?
No, that's really nice. It's really nice in instances like that to find like love and
Hmm.
create like a like huge community of love to
Yeah.
like combat it almost.
Yeah.
And I think that's like the best thing that we can do. It's
Yeah.
really sad though. Like, because it's just like, why is the world up to like a bunch of Taylor Swift girlies like to
No,
like
because
fucking solve everything? Because that's like what it feels like. It's like no
also,
one's doing shit.
apparently, there were like three other like incidents that happened with Taylor Swift fans recently. Like a Taylor Swift, like three Taylor Swift fans were like murdered
No,
recently.
I
Have you
saw
seen
that.
this?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, okay, can everyone just leave the girls alone?
It's actually insane because if you think about it at its core, why are these guys so angry that
No,
we have
literally.
something that is like bringing us together and giving us like power. Because it's like, I know it's just Taylor Swift, but like when you really think about it, she like is a really powerful woman. Like regardless of, you know, her rights and wrongs, like she has made women very happy and like almost like what's the word? Like it just like does something to people. Like almost in a way it like weaponizes, but like not weaponizes because that's like a
like
like
a negative
negative.
connotation.
Yeah.
As someone who's been to a few Swiftie nights, it is honestly such like a magical thing though to just like hear everyone screaming these lyrics to these songs about heartbreak and about like guys that have fucked them over, and it's just really sweet and cute, and it's cute that it spans generations. Like I saw at concerts like moms bringing their daughters to Taylor Swift concerts because they listened to Taylor Swift when they were little, and it's just really sweet. And I think also the Eras tour specifically is this just like this huge community because people get really excited about the outfits and people get really excited about the signs and all that. Which is also sweet. I saw on Reddit there was like a big thread of people like encouraging everyone to post their Eras outfits that they didn't get to wear at the Vienna concert, and it was sweet.
No, and I think so much of the reason for that is like the like suppression of women and like us all trying to like, you know, like act out in this way that like is like expressive and like reclaims this sort of power that's been taken away from us, and a lot of the time that's linked to like empowering like girl pop music. And like I think that's even what a lot of the like aura around like Charlie XCX's like Brat, like that, like all that, I think that's why it's doing so well. It's like and I know it's not just like girls who are like inspired by it, and it's great that it's inspirational to everyone, but I think it's so specifically like, amazing for like women that like we can have things like that to like bring us together when so much of the world is trying to shut us down all the time.
Or even just trying to divide women and pit women against each other. And then it's sweet that there can be something like that that brings everyone together. And even with like the discourse and stuff and people saying stuff, it's just sweet that there are still moments where everyone can come together and just trade friendship bracelets. Oh, this was what it was. Last month, a suspect in England killed 3 girls and wounded 10 people in a knife attack during a Taylor Swift themed dance and yoga class.
That's so scary because like we've gone to shit
No,
like that.
I know. And it's like, why can't you just it's a dance and yoga class? Like, oh my God. Like, are you kidding me?
Well, it's actually like I think I didn't like realize as I was reading, like I feel like it like simmered in my brain later, like the book Men Who Hate Women. I think it's actually like really important for people to read. Like I think it's like so helpful for people to be aware of and identify as like, no, this is like not normal, because it gets so brushed under the rug. Even just in like how I talk about it with guy friends who like respect women is crazy, because like a lot of guy friends have these ideas in their heads that they don't realize are like literally like started from the incel community of being like, no, actually like men hate women because women are like reject them, or like in charge of pretty much a man's self-worth, which is like that is not, you shouldn't like that's just not no like which is like crazy that like that's a normal thought in someone's head. Like literally like some of the best guys I know, like some of the least misogynistic guys I know, when we talk about misogyny, that's what we like are like fighting about. And it's like, sorry.
No, yeah, it's really scary. And it's, no, I think everyone should read the book. I think I said that in an episode a while ago. But I was also going to say, like, the last thing I wanted to say is that she also, I don't think, has spoken out about it. No, it's just like a really scary thing.
Because it's like, do you, I don't know, like, do you want to give more attention? It's weird because, like, it shouldn't, it's like something to be afraid of, but then you want to, like, respond to it in a way without fear, you know? And
well,
that's like also like literally like what it is with like misogyny too. Ugh. Okay. Anyways, are we gonna talk about Alex Cooper or what?
So basically, Alex Cooper, people are like, oh, should she be covering the Olympics? Should she not be covering the Olympics? And it's like, oh my God, who even cares?
Okay, but let's be real about one thing. Did anybody see Tana in the role model music video? Because that shit,
dude. Also, the comments on that video, people being like,
oh my God,
oh, he like knew to get all the chronically online girls, and someone was like, yeah, he dated Miss Emma Chamberlain. Like, of course he like knows about online culture and stuff. And I was like, he's Danny.
Low key, I wanted to smack him square in the face with his smug little look in that music.
He's Danny, is he not?
He's so annoying.
Like he's
But honestly, the thing is, like, he does seem like he doesn't seem like he's bad to women. I don't know. He might be.
annoying.
He might be. He like the fact that he's like making a song where he's like
it like
look at
makes
all
my
these
eye
awesome
twitch.
women. I love women. But it's like, what do we actually want people to do? Because
well,
it's
I
like
think
either way.
Yeah. But he just makes my eye twitch.
Because like in reality, it's like nice that we're normalizing love for women.
I mean, there are cool women in the video.
There are cool women, and it's nice that he like is just like, look at these women, you know.
Yeah. I guess.
No, it makes me mad. It makes me as mad as Claudia Saluski's 10
Oh my
pull-ups.
god. Did you guys know Claudia Saluski's on her way to doing 10 pull-ups?
Yeah, she actually realized that she could do 2, and then she said, well, if I can do 2, why I should just do 5. And if I can do 5, I could do 10 one day.
And it's because she rock climbs.
I hope she falls off the rock. Sorry, there's just like a lot of
And she's in Phineas's new music video.
Oh my god, I started watching it and then I clicked it off
same,
when I saw
same. I was like, oh my god, I hate these fucking bitches. Claudia, come on the pod, girl.
We would never
we'd be so sweet to you.
So I feel like that's like
time.
I feel like that's time, guys.
Like the further we go into this podcast, saying like literally anything, and then we're also just getting really like dark.
But it's like a good thing. We're just talking about what we care about, you know?
Well, it's also just hard. See, that's the thing too, is that I don't understand people who have platforms who don't talk about this stuff, because it's like, how are you just ignoring this? Like, how are you actively ignoring this? And that's like a big issue that I think a lot of people had with Bingetopia. I don't know if they have talked about it.
That is like why they've been mad at them. Yeah.
Yeah. Because it's like, this is like, how are you not? I don't know. It's
like there's so much to talk about within it.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think people are afraid of people getting mad at them for saying the wrong thing, but I think we need to like see, that's a weird thing, because I think that that's like at the center of an issue a lot of time, because I feel like even when I'm talking about it, I get like scared of like, I'm like, wait, how can this be perceived? I need to like also like keep that in mind and like be like aware like of my place in whatever it is.
Yeah.
But it's also like, I don't know. I think we need to like be forgiving towards people in like when they're like attempting to like, you know, cover important topipics
or like understand it.
Like then I like think about, I'm like, well, if we like are trying to give people leeway, then should we be more forgiving to people who make mistakes? But it's like this, I don't know. It's
but
just
I think that you can tell when someone has malicious intent or not. And I think that that's a big thing that a lot of people are overlooking or just not really caring about. And I think that that's what we need to remember.
And I do think we like, I don't know, I do think space to learn is important. And like, obviously, like nobody can tell you like how to feel about any problem, especially when like it is like an attack on you.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Like, I totally get why people wouldn't want to forgive Brooke.
Yeah.
I don't know, because I don't even really know how I feel about it. I feel like I don't have like space to like try to like feel about it, you know?
Same. I also am not like, I was never a big fan of like, I never really watched Canceled. Like I watched Hannah when she was younger, but I don't really watch her now or keep up with Canceled and stuff. So
it's like so different because I have like this like personal perspective of her as a person, where I feel very like attached to her in this way. And very connected to her just from like that time when I was younger.
That's like mother.
Literally, like she raised me. But like, I think that's interesting too, because I know that she like repeatedly has been bad. I don't know. I think that like the main like overarching thing, like the overarching conclusion of that is like, I don't know. I don't think it's like, I think we just need to be like a little bit less hard on like I guess being like, okay, we all need to like hate someone, I guess, because it's like kind of unproductive. But I think like holding people accountable is like very important as well, and like a balance between those things.
I will say that just from vibes only, Brooke always kind of gave me mean girl vibes, and Hannah like never really did, honestly.
No, because
like,
Hannah just seemed
but
like
in a different way. Like
She like was like a party girl, but like she didn't give me mean girl vibes. But Brooke
gives me mean girl
when
vibes.
we saw like the live show, I was kind of just like, I don't get it.
No, she gave me mean girl vibes.
I don't know. Like I also feel bad saying that about a woman because I'm like I feel like in a way that's like a coping mechanism for a lot of women, but at the same time
she was in a sorority.
She was in a sorority, and I feel like sorority culture literally just perpetrates like racism and like misogyny and like I know that's like may not be her intention in joining a sorority, but like just by being in one, you're like creating that kind of culture.
And apparently they like, I don't know if this is true because I didn't see anything on Twitter about this, but when we went to Noah or Kyle's birthday, when we went out and stuff, or someone there said that apparently her and a bunch of girls in her sorority dressed up as homeless people for Halloween.
Oh my God. Wait, who said that?
Do you not remember that?
Okay, I don't know if I heard her say that or not.
Yeah.
But that's crazy. Is that her dressed up as a homeless person? Oh my God, that's
do you see the sign?
crazy.
She's wearing a sign that says "Thanks Obama."
Yeah, I remember seeing that online.
Another girl is wearing a sign that says "Spread some cheese on this broke cracker." Because they're like homeless.
So I was gonna say, I think the thing with like everyone being like, let's collectively like say like not forgive this person, maybe sometimes it's like good because it's like not like that even like means that we hate them forever. It just means like, hey, we're angry at you and you need to do something about this. Because I think I often get lost in the idea of like, well, let's try and be forgiving and like understanding and like, you know, but it's like I think important for like even like cultural movements to be like, no, we're angry.
Yeah, well, that's how everything starts, I think, is with people being angry and people being fed up. Like nothing starts with people just being peaceful.
Well, Josh,
what do you think about Brooke? Would you hit that?